Day 3 of Ron riding the motorcycle to work. What the hell is going on here? Well, even though I'm enjoying this, riding this motorcycle, I mean, I don't get to ride as often as I'd like. Weather, work, family, you know, typical life things. Probably, I'd say the primary reason that I'm on the motorcycle is that my faithful steed, my Jeep, is in the shop. And you know, I've mentioned in previous vlogs how that Volkswagen I have is on it's laying in a deathbed in the driveway, and it'll be paid off here this month or next month, and I'm just going to get rid of it. The first time it tore up on me, the cost to repair it was damn near the cost of a new vehicle, and unfortunately for me, the Volkswagen wasn't paid off, so the amount of money that they offered to give me for the car wasn't enough to cover that, so I had to hold on to it until I could get the title and get rid of it, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, it'll be paid off. I'll be getting rid of that damn thing. I'll never buy another Volkswagen as long as I live. And so I've been driving Old Faithful. I've got a 2004 Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo, 6-cylinder, full-wheel drive, nothing fancy. Well, I bought it used in 2005. It had 27,000 miles on it when I bought it. And I've done all the work to it myself. The major things that I've done to it, I replaced the radiator about 3 years ago, and I replaced the water pump and the serpentine belt about the same time frame. Catalytic converter failed, so I had to have that taken care of. But for the most part, that's really the only failures that I've had on that Jeep. The other day, last week, I was riding it to work. I guess it was Thursday, and it felt like the brake pedal was a little soft. And by the time I got to work, I realized that it was, you know, the brake pedal was going closer to the floorboard than I'd like. So on the way home, I stopped at the auto parts place and got a bottle of brake fluid. And sure enough, the brake reservoir was low. So I topped it off, and I figured, well, that'll help, and it did help. But by the time I got home, which is about 16 miles from the auto parts place, the pedal was again soft. I parked the Jeep, went in the house, and figured I'd go look at it later. Well, we had supper, and I took the trash out to the trash can, and I noticed in the street there was a lot of fluid. Looked like it was fresh fluid had leaked out where I had stopped to get the mail out of the mailbox. And it looked fresh to me, and it was on the curbside. Well, my mailbox is in front of my house. I don't have to cross the street, so I know that where it was leaking was coming from the driver's side of the car. And sure enough, there was brake fluid leaking from. It wasn't coming from the wheel. It was coming from in front of the wheel, so I knew it was a brake line. I knew it wasn't the hose, the soft line. So I got a good friend of mine who owns a shop in town, and the wife and I, because she's off on Friday, so I drove the car up to his shop, left it there for him to look at, and he called me, and it's the brake lines have rusted and need to be replaced. So he's a little short-handed, and he didn't get a chance to get to it yesterday or Monday. So lucky for me, the weather's been nice, so I've got a vehicle to drive. But that car, even though that little thing, that's minor to me. I mean, this car, you know, it's 13 years old, for crying out loud. And no, 14. It's 14 years old. And for the few issues that it's given me, I've got no complaints. That car has been a backup. I'm afraid to get rid of it, because anytime somebody's vehicle had failed or had a flat tire, that Jeep was always there to pick up the slack. And I love it. I mean, it runs good. It still starts right up. The four-wheel drive works. The air conditioner still works. The power windows still work. The power locks still work. Radio still works. And it's got 223,000 miles on it, so almost 250,000 miles on that thing, and it's still going strong like the day I got it. But anyway, I missed that, and I hope I'll have it back here in a couple days. And so yeah, man, that's probably the best car I've ever owned in my life. I mean, the longest vehicle, I've owned it longer than any other vehicle I've ever had. You know, this motorcycle is a 2007, but it definitely doesn't have 223,000 miles on it. But anyway, so yeah, man, if you got a vehicle that in your lifetime that's lasted you 10 or more years, or got over 200,000 miles on it, or a lot of miles, and that has really been dependable and a good backup vehicle, and everybody in the family has enjoyed it, I'd love to hear about it. So go ahead and leave a comment about that. So anyway, this is another moto vlog done. 3 for the week. I'm batting a millionaire. Later on.